All right, so what up, y'all? I'm back with another one, and this one I was reacting to it. I reacted to like a minute of it, or 2 minutes of it, pretty much. But I was actually going live instead of just recording the video, so I'm gonna start it over. And this is a video I was watching. And I've been wanting to watch this and react to it for
County
a
Associate.
while now, but I ain't really had a chance to, or really got around to it. But it was posted 11 days ago, and by the title, it was pretty wild. Like it grabbed my attention immediately, bro. I was like, I gotta see what this is about because the whole concept of it just sounds crazy. Like, why is a judge doing like no? The first time I ever seen it, it said something about a judge doing drive-bys. So, but it's the same exact person, but it's a different channel that I'm watching. I ain't see the initial video that I came across, but let's see what they talking about, man. Like I said, I already seen like the first 2 minutes of this one because I accidentally went live instead. But
A sitting Oklahoma judge finds
let's
himself on
see.
the opposite side of the bench, facing several felony gun charges, and now he's been indicted for allegedly pulling a drive-by shooting at his brother-in-law's home. Garfield County Associate Judge Brian Lavelle was charged with felony counts of discharging a firearm into a dwelling and using a vehicle to facilitate the discharge of a firearm. The charges stem from a February 2023 incident in Bison, Oklahoma. According to the indictment, Lavelle fired a gun at his brother in law's home, then, 2 days after the shooting, reported the firearm was stolen from his vehicle. Lavelle's brother in law, Kenneth Marks,
So this man went on a drive by shooting with his own gun, and then he gonna report the gun stolen 2 days later out of his vehicle. Come on, bruh.
reported someone fired at least 5 times at his home, damaging a window, wall, and an oven. According to reports by KOFR, Mark said his son was inside the home at the time of the February shooting. Mark said the car stopped on the road, then bullets rang out. Marks told a local reporter his son was nearly struck by a bullet that flew through the front window. It's unclear what prompted Lavelle to allegedly shoot at his brother in law's home, but his brother in law did tell the local outlet their relationship was strained and they hadn't spoken for 10 to 15 years. But the drive by incident isn't Lavelle.
That part is so crazy to me. Like, this is his brother-in-law that he's shooting at. That means that that dude is technically, I guess, dating his sister or married to his sister, right? So that means they've been together for a long time. So like, bruh probably been feeling some kind of way about this dude for God knows how long. Cause clearly they ain't spoken 10 to 15 years, which means I'm assuming that his sister and this man been together way longer than that. So God knows how long he just been feeling some type of way, bro. But to do this in the position that you in life, you a judge, bro. Why you?
Lavelle's only brush with the law. Another drive by shooting, this one across state lines in Texas, would have authorities piecing
He was
together
doing
clues that
drive-bys and
allegedly pointed to Lavelle. The embattled judge
he
faces
was doing
several
drive-bys
felony
in two
counts in
different
Texas
states.
for allegedly using the same weapon, a Glock 2340 caliber,
And then he used the same gun. He went to two different states, used the same exact gun in two different crimes, bro. Like, you gotta be more. You a judge. You should be smarter than this, ain't you? Like, why are you going about stuff this way, bro? It don't even make
in
sense.
another incident in Austin, Texas, months later in September of 2023. In that incident, Lavelle is accused of opening fire on
So he
parked
did two different
vehicles
shootings
while
in
out
Texas.
driving. Caliber in Texas, other clues that allegedly pointed to Lavelle. The embattled judge faces several felony counts in Texas for allegedly using the same weapon, a Glock 2340 caliber, in another incident in Austin, Texas, months
Austin.
later in September of 2023. In that incident, Lavelle is accused of opening fire on parked vehicles while out driving and then crashing into at least one of them. According to the probable
Okay, I
cause
don't know. I
affidavit,
might
Austin
misheard that.
PD were dispatched to a local intersection after a caller reported a man was driving an SUV and fired his weapon about 5 times while driving down the street. Police say at the scene they located several vehicles with bullet holes in them.
So he was
According to
doing the
police, they
driving
recovered
and shooting.
340 caliber shell casings from the scene. But while investigating the shots fired call, another 911 call came in regarding an urgent crash less than 2 miles away from the scene. The driver of the white SUV with Oklahoma plates matched the description witnesses had from the previous call, And police say that person was identified as Brian Lavelle. When police spoke,
So he was going around shooting stuff up, and then he crashed his car. How he? Let's see if they get to that. How he crashed his car? Was he drunk or something when he doing this? Was he on drugs? Like, did he just lose sight while he was shooting and driving? Like what happened, bro? Like this whole story just is confusing. Why are you doing this?
with Lavelle, they observed a firearm magazine inside the driver's side door pocket and a firearm on the front passenger floorboard.
So he
Police
had
say
two.
Lavelle intentionally struck the other vehicle involved in the collision and engaged in a verbal argument with the driver. During the road rage incident, Lavelle allegedly struck the other vehicle at one intersection, then struck the vehicle again when they came to a stop at a second intersection, nearly pushing the car into cross traffic.
Bruh, this man, he's a hothead. So he was out there shooting stuff, and then he got into a road rage incident with like what? What did the people on the road do to you? You out there doing stuff you ain't supposed to be doing. Was they just in your way or something, bro? Like you hit their car once, and then you hit them once they came to a complete stop. Like this dude is throwed in the head, bro. And he's a judge in the state somewhere, putting folks away for crimes, bro. You know how many petty sentences he probably done handed out? He out here doing stuff like this. Golly, y'all gotta get that boy out the courthouse immediately.
During an interview with police, Lavelle allegedly said he didn't know why he fired off his gun and didn't remember any part of the shooting incident. Lavelle told police that the other driver cut him off in traffic and he rear-ended her vehicle and another
A
vehicle. He
woman?
did not admit the collisions were intentional.
He did that to a woman, bro. Golly, yeah, he throw it in the head, man. He throw. Y'all gotta put that. Throw the key away, god damn it.
Even with those allegations. I mean, we're talking about someone who is the arbiter of disputes and disagreements and making decisions on
Talk to
important
him, brother.
constitutional issues
Talk to him,
involving
brother.
criminal cases and defendants. And here he is standing accused of
See?
engaging in some defendants on important
He said that
constitutional
shit too.
issues involving criminal cases and defendants. And here he is standing accused of engaging in some pretty heinous, violent offenses. That certainly racks the brain, even on those allegations.
Attorney and
Right,
retired
I'm
Judge Mel
confused.
Rucker explained despite the judge's esteemed position on the bench, he's still human and humans make bad decisions.
So one of the things, and I
He's a dumb human. He's a highly paid, who's supposed to be intelligent human, put in a position to make some pretty important decisions in people's lives, bro. And yet he out here doing dumb stuff. Like, man, get this man out the god darn courthouse ASAP, bro.
sat for 13 years, and my father was a judge, and I have a lot of friends who have been and still are, charged with the responsibility of holding the gavel and making these decisions. But at the core of
See, I
our
said that.
profession, each of us individually is a person. And in that same way, as people, judges, just like everybody else, police officers, unfortunately, teachers, unfortunately, presidents, unfortunately, are sometimes, victims of their own bad life or their bad decision-making process. They're human at their core, and humans make human errors and human decisions. And so, if these allegations are proved to be true, and this isn't mistaken identity or false allegations, they are the revelation that this judge is, in fact, human, but has no business being in the type of serious position that he is in and has been in, making these types of
Yeah, get that boy out that position, man. Get him out that seat.
prisons and jails are full of plenty of offenders who did not believe they were going to get caught, or who were so impulsive in their actions that wasn't on their mind whether they were going to be caught or not. So I can't hazard a guess whether, if again these allegations are true against this individual, he believed he was going to get caught, or perhaps thought that maybe his authority would allow him some privilege that would allow him to, avoid prosecution or responsibility. But ultimately, when we see impulsive actions like this, most of the time, at least in my experience, the individuals who perpetrate them are not really thinking, which is why they end up doing stuff like this.
And although Lavelle hasn't been convicted of any crime at this point, and his name is still listed as a judge at the Garfield County Courthouse, Ruckert says he might not be holding the position for much longer,
He better not
especially
be.
if found guilty.
Well, let me say this. In most states, there is a prohibition on people who pull drive-bys and shoot at other people from, being elected in or sitting in positions of trust, such as being a judge. Now, I don't know the specific rules in that particular jurisdiction, but I'd be incredibly surprised if they allowed someone convicted of an offense like this to actually subsequently be able to serve, because he's got two bodies that he's got to deal with. One, of course, is the Judicial Grievance Committee, who will review his actions as a judge, and then
They said two bodies, but I thought he killed two people at first. I was finna say, golly. Oh, you can't say that on YouTube? On the law of two people? Guess we gonna find out.
separately his fitness to practice law, even as an attorney, that could subsequently allow him to practice law and run again or be appointed or something like that. That separate body would then be an oversight, in a position of oversight to determine whether or not, again, he is fit to either practice law or certainly to serve in that capacity.
Them guys was that fancy to where they putting their names and stuff on them. I never realized them things was that fancy, bro. I thought it was like just like a little hammer, essentially. You know what I'm saying? You hitting a piece of wood. That thing right there look kind of like it got some weight to it. It's like somebody done put some hard engraving into it. They haven't got their name in there. He done put away a lot of folks with that bad boy. Look at it. Whoever it is. Rosier Jones.
Whether or not, again, he is fit to either practice law or certainly to serve in that capacity.
So, what would it look like in the courtroom to try a case with a judge as a defendant? Rucker says the defense could go for the mistaken identity defense, whereas the prosecution would tackle the physical evidence.
Mistaken identity. Man, they try to find all kind of ways to clear these folks from these crimes, bro.
Yeah, what I would suspect that his attorney is going to do, and I saw where his attorney is saying at this point, at least one of the charges, that there's not enough evidence to establish by proof beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed the offense. What his attorney should be doing, and what we most likely will see, is attacking the veracity of the stories. What is the evidence? Who are the witnesses? What motive may these witnesses have to attack or to lay a story on him that's not true? Where's the physical evidence linking him to these? There's a suggestion that his gun was stolen. So what you'll see in a good defense attorney in this case is truly magnifying these questions that establish reasonable doubt against this particular individual. And then if that attorney is a good, passionate, experienced attorney, you will see a significant amount or hear a significant amount of advocacy for the fact of how outrageous it is, of the likelihood that someone in such an esteemed position would engage in conduct like this, added together with the lack of whatever physical evidence or veracity of credibility of those witnesses that observed it. That's going to be the attack.
See,
And
that
that's how
don't
you
look
do
as
that
fancy as the
when
other
someone
one.
who has a good stellar record is accused of being engaged in some pretty wild, dangerous,
Maybe it's just like a
dangerous stuff.
generic
Well,
one
the
for the
prosecutor most
the
certainly
little
will
clip they
be
made.
not only making sure that the physical evidence lines up with the accusations, whatever body cam footage there is, whatever, again, the physical evidence supports. In one of the allegations, there was a gun clip found about an hour after the shooting, because he then is accused of intentionally ramming another car in road rage after he shot up all these other cars. I tell you, this is some Wild West stuff. But then again, it is Texas.
Yeah, bro.
And so the prosecutor,
Yeah, it's this whole situation sound wild. Like, so I don't get it. Like, he was that mad to where he was shooting up other people's houses and stuff, and then got mad when he was in traffic and started road raging, to where he was just knocking people's cars through the road. Like, man, he gotta pay for something, bro. Y'all can't tell me this dude is just completely innocent, or he just was not in the car. But I don't know. He was a judge. He got pretty decent money, clearly. So we gonna see what and how he gets away with it, if he get away with it.
will be looking not only to ensure that that physical evidence is lined up, but also looking into that public official's background. If there are any allegations that were ever made, even in campaign arguments, that this person has a history of being aggressive, that there was some things that was swept under the carpet that now can be exposed, that weren't revealed, but do reveal his character and the propensity to engage in conduct like this. The good, diligent prosecutor will look more than just at this incident and the facts surrounding it, but will seek to talk to other witnesses and individuals that know him to see if there's something else to explore to support these allegations against somebody in that type of position.
And although the grand jury handed down an indictment, Rucker explains it doesn't assure a slam dunk for the prosecution's case.
What we know and what we hear in every case that sees the light of day is the adage that the prosecutors can indict a ham
Innocent until
sandwich.
proven
We know that the
guilty.
grand jury is truly the glove on the prosecutor's right hand. And so the idea that they were able to obtain an indictment does suggest that there's probable cause, meaning there's more probable than not, more likely than not, that something happened. And so the fact that there is actually an indictment, it means something. It means the case is going to go forward. But you also don't know what evidence was presented at the grand jury, what witnesses actually testified, whether it was simply the police officer saying, yeah, this is what we got and this is what we believe happened. There's no way to know how much evidence was presented. So the fact that there was an indictment, okay, we got enough to go forward, but I don't know that a whole lot needs to be made from the fact of the indictment itself.
According to the indictment, punishment for the crime
Man,
is no less than 2 years in prison. But is it possible the judge would even see the inside of a prison cell if convicted? Rucker says Judge Lavelle should
no.
be treated just as any other person.
Well, what we
The question is, how would he sentence the person responsible for something like this? That's what a judge should ask him once they got him in that courtroom in them prison jumpsuits and handcuffs, ready to be prosecuted. They can be like, man, what would you sentence somebody to do something like this? If it was somebody who did this stuff to your own family, what would the sentence be, bro? Because 2 years sound bogus as hell for something like this, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, 2 years minimum, and he could be back out on the streets. What's he gonna learn in 2 years? Nothing.
would hope is that this judge would be treated just as every other individual charged with like offenses. And so if it's normal in that jurisdiction for someone to do something like this after they're found guilty to be sentenced to 2 or 4 years, then he should be sentenced to 2 or 4 years likewise. If, however, he is acquitted, then he should be afforded, just like every other person who is found not guilty or acquitted of the charges against them, should be afforded the same consideration of the restoration of their full rights and privileges as they had before he was charged in this offense. But do I think that his position as a judge will ultimately have some impact on the possibility of him serving some lengthy sentence or even be convicted? We don't like to believe that the system peeks its eye from underneath Lady Justice's blindfold, but we certainly do have instances in history where that's been the case, where people with
Exactly.
influence and relationships.
You don't want that to be the case, but that's gonna be the case, bro. Like, again, had this been some just average person like me out there on the streets, bro, who just did some random BS like that, they not batting an eye to, not even twice, about how they gonna send somebody like me for doing something like that. You feel what I'm saying? But being that this man is a judge in a state somewhere, Oklahoma to be exact, like, bro, this man is gonna he gonna get a slap on the wrist. He ain't finna serve no real time. Like I said, he might not even see a jail cell for this stuff, bro. They might put him on house arrest or some type of probation where he gonna be on some strict supervision. He gonna be able to do this and that, third, and yeah, man. He might mess around and keep his job too. I don't even know, bro. I'm not even surprised with how America functions at this point, bro. Like, it's kind of wicked at this point of how this world just operates.
Are given a different set of justice than those of us who don't have those same relationships and influence in the court system. So
Exactly.
that he is treated just as every other defendant is treated,
Hope.
or every other
We
defendant
can only
is
hope.
treated like he's treated as they go through that system. as I suggested a moment ago, it's outrageous to believe that someone who is in such a position of trust and authority and esteem and privilege would be accused of such a thing. But the public needs to keep in mind truly that that judge underneath the robe is a human. And again, humans make decisions that, as humans, we don't always, in reflection, believe was the best thing to do. Perhaps that, in the end, will be what we see happen here.
Brian Lovell did not enter a plea when he was arraigned last week. Instead, the court entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. His bond was set at $25,000 and comes with
25,
conditions,
bro.
not to possess any firearms, can't live where there are firearms, and he's to have no contact with his brother-in-law.
Is this all normal? Like, so he can only possibly serve 2 years. His bond was only 25,000, and he was shooting up people's houses and hitting people in cars, or hitting other people's cars in his car while he was in traffic. And it's still a possibility that he might not even see a jail cell. I'm sick, bro. I'm sick. Like, they gotta put that man away. Cause like that one man, like the dude said, bro, like, you don't want to believe that those connections gonna have some type of influence, but it will. It surely will. Well, clearly he's a judge and executor, or judge, jury, and executor, or executioner. I can't read. He reported the gun stolen after the drive-by. Right? What kind of BS was that? This whole story is crazy, bro. And then, man, he might not even serve no time for it, bro. That's the sickening part. So, I don't even know what to say. So, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, bro. I'm a little disgusted, to be honest, because, again, your average Joe's getting put away for some time for that. No question about it. While this man, he might indeed get a slap on the wrist. We shall see.